Neil Smith, the Dandy DJ here. I just now got home, and guess what's on my porch? New gear. Well, apparently they didn't bother getting anyone to sign for it because they just dumped it at the door, but okay, be that as it may, I have a Chauvet, alright, you know it's lights now, Gigbar IRC. Yeah, I'm having trouble getting that in the shot there, but I didn't just get one of them because I've got to do it extra dandy. I got two of them because it deserves to be dandy. So I'm going to pull these things into the house. I'm going to unbox them, and I hear that they talk to each other wirelessly, and two of them will talk to each other wirelessly and coordinate the movements of the lights. So I'm going to give that a shot. Let's go inside and let's pull these things in and see what we got. There's my doggy Emma Lou. Hi Emma, how are you? Oh, devil dog with shiny eyes. Okay. And in the box, it's another box. And there you have it. Okay, I've pulled it out of the box, and here's what I got. Right there, the unit's in there, but inside the box is still, there's the tripod stand right there. Yeah, and that is the foot controller down there, just as I suspected. So let's get this thing and turn it. It's very lightweight. Oh, I'm in love with how lightweight this is. But then again, the tripod is also not in the case yet, and it's my understanding that the tripod goes in this case. And this pocket right here is supposed to be for the foot controller, I'm assuming. So anyway, pretty standard duffel bag type straps. Sewn right there. I do expect after a couple months to get some rippage there. I gotta assume I'll be doing some sewing on that, but you don't know because these are kind of thin. But I mean, heck, for what you get for the price of this. So anyway, let's. All right, that side unzipped. Let's unzip this side. And let's have the look, the grand unveiling. And this is it's got some meat on this. This isn't just padded. This is a very firm. I mean, you can feel the foam in there, but it's a very firm foam. So that's good. It's like a guitar case or something. Well, not as meaty as a guitar case. And there it is. There is the Chauvet Gigbar. And look, it's it's like lined, so it's got the foam under there and it's lined. Now, I mean, very loose, and I just know with some use that's going to be ripping up, and I'll be doing some glue jobs and things like that, and you know, sure I'll have to get creative once that gets some age and wear on it. But this is really cool. Now let's have another look at that. Is that actual hinges on the case? Well, it's covered with fabric back there, so, but right here, it does look, that does appear to be an actual hinge on the case, and not just like fabric or plastic or something that's going to break after a number of opens and closes. So, overall, pretty good. Test this. Feels like some very decent, look at that, lifting with one hand very easily. It's, what was this? Maybe 15, 20 pounds at the most. I'd say not even 20 pounds, but good God, that is so much nicer than what I've been working with. And look just how nice and neat those cables are, and everything's already connected. I cannot wait to try this thing out. Foot switch box. Let's open it up, see what we got. I did, cut through the tape, of course. Looks like we've got the handheld controller here. It's like we've got some stickers, some Chauvet stickers, and that looks like the warranty and owner's manual in there, and I will read the owner's manual. I'm one of those guys who reads the manual before he does anything. There's an EIC cable, and so obviously that thing is looks too short to make it all the way down the tripod stand, which means that you will have to come up and meet it halfway with your power. But inside here, let's get the foam out of there. Oh, here's here. Let's see here. Just foam. Here's those doohickeys that you always see on the side here. Right there, see those? They put them on there. I guess that's if you want, have other lights you want to mount. But you know what? I always see it with that stuff pictured, and I never see anything mounted. Except I did see one video where a guy put a couple of Innos on there and some moving heads on there, and that was pretty awesome. But for right now, I'm just going to keep those in the box and leave it nice and clean, and not have that. I think just have a nice clean setup. So there's the foot switch. Here are some clamping knobs and plastic washers, and we'll figure those out pretty soon. They must be for the tripod stand, I have to assume. And here's the foot switch. It's got the antenna here. It's a little tough to get that antenna out. Look at that. I had to dig in there with my pinky. Okay, well, I have to dig in with the pinky. So we've got Blackout, which is my favorite Scorpions album. Color, you can choose the color. Music, if you want it just to go from the music, and then automatic if you just want it to do its own thing. On-off switch. Oh, look, the on-off switch is covered with plastic, and that is a great idea. You can kind of go in there and switch it, but it kind of keeps it from being accidentally hit and tripped, and that's very cool. Here's the battery compartment, and it's with screws, and I'm going to do that with Velcro instead, because I don't want to have to unscrew that every time I want to pop in a battery. That's obnoxious, but that's okay. I'll do a little mod on that, and I'll be fine. But yeah, this is made of metal. It feels like decent quality. I mean, it's lightweight. I mean, it's not super heavy duty, but this is not the main selling feature. I mean, it's a good selling feature. It's light. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's going to break or anything on the first try. All right, so those clamping knobs, I figured out what they go to. These clamping knobs right here in the bag and washers, they go to that thing. Those brackets that go on the ends like that, which never have anything pictured on them. They're these just crazy wings that you could mount something to if you want. All right, now that battery holder, apparently there's no way to actually plug this foot pedal in anywhere. And opening this thing, apparently it takes a crazy little 12-volt battery that comes with it. Look at this thing. Look at that. That thing. Very non-standard battery. And so if you want to use the foot pedal, you got to go fishing around for this stupid little battery. And if it runs out, you got to have another one on hand to replace it with, and then unscrew it. And I'm going to say that's my first complaint that I actually have about this unit. I think that's asinine. I mean, you should just put normal batteries, so maybe my double A's that I keep on the recharger for my microphones and things like that. I just like to stick a couple of those guys in there and have it powered if it needs two of them or whatever, Having a non-standard battery, that's a loser. So I think what I'm going to be doing is I think I am going to have to do a mod there on this so that I can just go ahead and plug that into the wall, because it'll be under my DJ table, and just plug it into my power strip so that I can just use that for a controller right there. Anyway, so that's a project that Chauvet is apparently making me undergo, but I think it'll make for a good video. Anyway, I'm going to put these screws right down there, and I'll put those back in a second. Tripod stand. We are now to the tripod stand. Let's pull this puppy out of here, and let's see if I like this tripod stand. Hopefully it has linch pins in it for safety. If it doesn't have those, I'm going to not be very happy. Well, it does have a protective bag for the stand. That's nice. I was not expecting that. That's actually very nice. Chauvet DJ on the bag. Little carrying handle. No, I thought I was supposed to be able to keep the tripod in this case. I thought that was part of part of the selling point of this thing? Or did I just tell myself that at some point because it's what I wanted to hear? Okay, so, you know, I mean, they've done a very good job of protecting everything here. Let's have a look here. Huh. And it's like the circumference, I believe, a little smaller than most speaker stands, but it's certainly not the worst stand I've ever seen. Got that for the base of it. Goes straight in, so what happens when the day comes that thing strips out? Okay, thank you, Evan. I appreciate it. When the day that thing strips out, I'm not going to be a happy guy because it's not a pressure sleeve. It's built in. I had a stand like that once, and when this stripped out, there was no way to fix it, no way to replace it. So if this thing strips out, it's toast. So not loving that design. This one up here does have the linch pin. I demand linchpins for safety because if this stuff fails, then you're done. I want to say that's about 9 feet tall right there for the stand, but there's something else I want to show you. I first was lifting it right by here, and this thing just came right off. Whoa. And then this inner piece right here just kind of fell right out. It's just laying in there. And that was a surprise. So this stuff just all falls right apart, and I got to tell you, this is not the best quality stand I've ever seen. This is actually pretty disappointed, and this is very, very thin, lightweight, and even comes with a warning. Please, you probably can't read that, but it says, "Please don't over tighten because you'll damage the stand." And I believe that because this is very thin material. So if I tighten up too much down here, what's going to happen, because I have another stand like that, it's going to make dimples in the pole. And it's going to warp the pole, and the thing won't collapse properly. So I will say, not loving this stand. Use it as long as it lasts, but this stand, I foresee this thing. I'll be very pleased if I get 1 year out of this stand. So this stand is not good quality, but I'm pretty sure that'll fit over a standard speaker stand. So I'll be able to adapt and get another beefier stand for it when the time comes. Okay, so here we have the Gigbar. It's set up on the pole. So there it is. I don't really want to go any higher than that. I got the fan going right there. So I want to be able to reach stuff for right now. So I don't have it up super high. But look how big those legs are. They go out way far, and for as small as that thing is, small and lightweight, I just think, I mean, my wife just poked her head in and said, hey, those legs take up a lot of real estate. And I got to tell you, I have to agree. I mean, I'm sure it's nice and stable. It's not going anywhere, but I mean, you know, Evan, stop that. So, I mean, I may just mount that thing right on the top of my speakers. Who knows? I'll figure something out. But yeah, I mean, I'm at a gig. I get those big legs sticking way out just to stabilize that thing. But, you know, and it's a very thin, cheap stand as it is. Not loving the stand, but okay, I'm through complaining about that. So, okay, so here I go reading the manual right here. The laser says avoid direct eye exposure, which is why every video I've seen of this has the laser pointed up to the wall behind them, like up in the air and hitting a wall behind them. So you do not want to be pointing this thing down towards the crowd while they dance, because it is a hazard. Okay, so here's the unit right here, and we're going to go ahead and hit the auto switch and just see what it can do by itself. So I've got the laser pointed up there in the back, as you can see. And it's just going through some automatic things. It's got sound active mode, and I can keep pressing the automatic one on. I'm just playing with the foot pedal right now, and so far what I've seen of the foot pedal, I'm not really sure I'd use it. I might just use the handheld controller, let it go sound active during the dance time. I mean, that's pretty good for the dance portion with two of them together, things like that. That'll probably be nice. But for things like a couple's first dance or something romantic, I want to set up a slow fade, and I have not yet been able to accomplish that yet using this. I can make it just select a certain color. I could, I can go like that and just make it concentrate, like everything will be red now. It'll do its thing and it'll just be red if I want that. Or I can go like this and I can change the color. So, I mean, that's kind of neat. And I can do a few things like that. But there's nothing really I'm not really seeing a whole lot that's real elegant here. So maybe I'm thinking it is a possibility. I'll play with it some more, and as I learn more, I could be wrong about this, but I'm thinking that it could be highly possible that I'll be using the handheld controller just to go between music active, or just do a slow fade or a blackout, and just keep the handheld. And if I do that, then I won't need to worry about that screwy little battery in here. I mean, I'll have to keep an extra watch battery on me just in case. It's nice having the blackout there, but I've got that in the handheld as well. And maybe I can just Velcro it onto something right there at the DJ booth, and just making my life easy. Because I mean, this this is really no substitute for a DMX controller. I mean, it's a nice gimmick and everything. All right, so here's a new revelation I just learned. See, my big hope with this thing was that this antenna, because I know these things can go master and slave mode, where I can set one up to be a master, the other to be a slave, and then they'll be synchronized with each other. And kind of when I hear wireless operation and things like that, I was hoping that it would mean this would help it talk to the other one, so that they would synchronize that way. But upon reading the manual, it's no, you got to use the DMX ins and outs here in the back. So I cannot hook them up wirelessly. So it's got to be with the DMX. That's how they'll talk to each other, which I should have known, but so I'm a little bummed about that. But I can just stick a cable there and cable them up. And plus I could also get a DMX wireless transmitter and receiver and stick the transmitter in one and receiver in the other, and then I should be good. But I'm a little bummed about that. But I'm stupid enough that when I set them both up in here, I'll try it anyway without, just so I can be disappointed. But I'll probably just use a microphone cable, XLR, and I'm sure that'll work. And I know there's purists out there who'll say, "Oh no, you can't do that." But you know what? I'm sure if it'll work, it'll work. And then I'll just look for a wireless DMX. So anyway, that's my latest revelation on this. And also my other revelation is that it doesn't appear I'll be using the foot switch at all, so the battery doesn't matter. And the reason I won't be using the foot switch at all is because it doesn't have the ability to do fades. It just turns stuff on and off. Whereas the this thing right here, it can do fades. It's got more features. You can get the color you need, and it's got a lot more control. You hold down one, and you can set the intensities and things like that. Blackouts right here. So, and since I have two of them, I'll have two of these, and I'll just, in case one battery dies, I grab the other, and that's how I'll do it. And one good thing about this, though, is that the receiver for the infrared for this thing is on the front right here, but they also stick one right here on the back. So it doesn't matter if you're in front of it or behind it, it can still grab it. So that's a good thing. So won't be using foot switch, I'll be using this. And this is just going to be a lot easier, even easier than a big clunky DMX controller. And the reason the fades are so important to me is because since I'm a wedding DJ, the slow dances are very important. And I can't have a big, spot, flash. It's obnoxious during a slow dance. And I mean, it's great for the upbeat dance portion, but for a slow dance, I can't have the strobes and things like that. I need a nice, slow, elegant fade with colors and a wash and things like that, Anyway, so that's where I'm at. Tomorrow, I'm going to hook up the other Gigbar, and I'm going to try and see if I can get those two to talk to each other. And then we'll take it from there. But so far, I'm very happy with this purchase. Very happy so far with, just a couple of the disappointments I pointed out here. And by the way, hopefully this has been a service to you, because in all the other reviews I've seen of this, these down points I've mentioned, I have not seen mentioned in anybody else's review at all. And I'm guessing is because a lot of these guys reviewing it get them as review models from the manufacturer. So they're, they walk gingerly and try not to say the negatives. And that doesn't really serve anyone, does it? Okay, so here we are with the two Gigbars. It's the following day. Got them both set up side by side. And I figured out, why you do need DMX to connect them is because otherwise you'd have to pair them and radio signals, frequency interference, and you got to deal with all kinds of other crazy stuff. Now another thing I noticed, I figured out why the EIC cable, the power cable, is the length that it is, why it doesn't reach to the floor. And that is because it's exactly the perfect length for plugging one into the other when they're perfectly side by side. How it's in like that, it runs over here. I had to bring these guys perfectly together. You can kind of see it dangling there. So you want it nice and clean. You'll have to figure out a way to attach it. They did not give a way to attach that. And then it plugs into the back of this one over here. So they power together like that. So that's the reason. Some more, and I'll turn them both on together and see what we got here in a minute. But another observation I've got now, the Gigbars themselves, nice quality, and they had to keep the price down to sell these things at this much impact at this price point. They had to keep the prices down somewhere, and they had to cut corners places. They didn't cut corners on what they deliver. The actual units themselves are good. All the other things like the stand, the case, everything else they gave is just icing on the cake, and that the icing's where they cut their corners. But and also I'm noticing these are 5-pin DMX right here, but it takes 3-pin DMX to connect up here the units to the units. So I'm going to use a microphone cable, and I did a little research. When you run into problems using a microphone cable normally when you're connecting a lot of units together, and since I'm only connecting 2 together, I think I'll be okay. At least I hope. I don't want to have to go out and buy DMX. But also looking at the back of the lights, these 5-pin DMX cables, they're built in, and that's bad news, because if the cable goes out, you can't just swap the cable. You got to do either surgery on the light or replace the light altogether. So that's unfortunate there. I would have rather seen a screw in right there, but once again, in order to bring it in at this price point, that's probably less expensive. All right, I've got them both on right now. I tried the one over there is master. This one I have set to slave. I had set to slave. When I set that to slave, it did nothing. It just went down. So it was waiting to get signal from that, is my guess. So now I've got them both kind of doing their thing, and they're individual, so that's no good. So I'm going to go ahead and hook up a cable between them and see if I can get these guys to talk to each other. Okay, I've got a 20-foot microphone cable connecting to the DMX here, and they are synchronized and talking to each other. Look at that. And that's just really, really nice. I'm going to have to mark which one's master, which one's slave, just so I don't have to, goof with it when I set it up. Okay, that's with a 20-foot cable. I've got one last experiment to do. I'm going to try it with a 50-foot cable because, I hear, about how when you use a microphone cable instead of a DMX, the interference can cause problems and things like that. I don't think it will in this case because it's just connecting 2 things together, and after the point of connection, it's pure DMX inside it. So next I'm going to try connecting with a 50-foot cable, and then just for gits and shiggles, I'm going to connect 2 50-foot cables, and what the heck, I'll even put the 20-foot cable on there, make it 120 feet of microphone cable connecting these 2 and see how they do. And yeah, I'll clean it up at a gig and make it nicer than those straggly wires, because the whole reason you buy this thing is because it's clean. Okay, here's my final stage of the experiment. You know what? I was thinking I'd do 20 foot of microphone cable, then 50, then 100. And I said, you know, why not just cut to the chase and go for the gusto? So I did. I connected these two with not 20 foot, not 50 foot, not 100 foot, not 150 foot, but that right there, what you're looking at, is with 170 feet of microphone cable. And these guys are talking to each other just perfectly, just fine in master-slave mode. If you don't believe me, it's coming out of there. Oh, it's going right down there, and going there. And then it's right there, and it's connected there, and then it goes over here. And there's a mess of cable. There's 3 50-foot cables and 1 20-foot cable all connected together, and they're talking perfectly. Take that, you DMX purists. Although I wouldn't try this with like a bunch of fixtures, but to get these two guys to talk together, that gives me a lot of confidence that I can just stick one on one side of the room, one on the other, which is what I really wanted to have the ability to do. And then just be able to bathe that dance floor from both sides. So anyway, I'll do my wrap up here. Well, okay, I decided to come into the kitchen for this one. So what did we learn here about the Chauvet Gigbar IRC? Well, I think it's a success. I'm perfectly happy with this purchase. I am beyond happy. I think it's going to bring amazing value to my clients. The places they cut corners to bring it in at the price point they did were not completely critical places, and the unit itself is great. I think it's where it's coming in is bang for the buck. This is about the most bang I've been able to find for the buck. It's the biggest, most inclusive, well-rounded out light show at the lowest price point at a quality product. And that's where I'm putting this, and I think for that niche, I think they knocked this thing out of the park. And, you know, as some of those weaker components tend to fail, I'll swap those out for better stuff. So anyway, that's my assessment. I'm going to say on a scale of 1 to 10, the Chauvet Gigbar IRC, when taking into account, a couple of the other things, I'm going to give it an 8.5. I think I'm pretty comfortable with an 8.5 there. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful to some of you. Some of you who have been maybe looking at the Chauvet Gigbar IRC and have only been seeing reviews from people who got free review units, and they can't really talk bad about Chauvet, or just stuff that's put out there on the marketplace. I haven't really seen anything critical about it yet, and so for those of you wanting a more critical point of view, I'm hoping this filled that need for you, and you can go forward with this or not go forward with this fully informed and fully educated about it. Anyway, this is Neil Smith of Dandy DJ and Photo Booth from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, serving a 5-hour radius of the greater Nashville, Tennessee area. And if it deserves to be celebrated, it deserves to be dandy. Also, check out my book on Amazon. It's called The Wedding DJ Bible. Thanks so much. Stay dandy.